you so much, Arnaud. And just before I begin, I want to thank you particularly for your passion, for people to find their passion, because you really challenged me, and I had to dig deep. So thank you for that. It's not fair, is how I felt when my dad abruptly stopped reading the comics to me on Sunday. You know, in those days, dads were grown-up depression babies, and they just focused on work. And I loved that time with him. I felt so special because he would laugh uncontrollably about jokes I didn't even understand, but I knew one thing. We were sharing happiness together, and he shared himself together with me in that moment. And I felt so sad when he stopped. I made it mean I was unworthy. You know, I bet my dad said, "It's not fair," when I was born, way too early for his plans, showing up as a girl instead of a boy. And when I was 19, on a trajectory for my fashion career, I had a beautiful love child. And so "It's not fair" ranted all over my sobbing tears, prematurely marrying, and really felt bad for the hubby, because hubby was really a simple guy. He just wanted food on the table, clean clothes, kids taken care of. Me, being the creative type, he would just come home to hybridizing African violets because I wanted to see if I could make new colors, so there was just vermiculite and soil strewn all over the table. No dinner in sight, no clean clothes. And so the inevitable divorce occurred, and he wiped out the bank account and left me standing with 2 kids, 2 cats, a mortgage payment, a car payment, and 2 jeans to my name. And anger roared back. The "it's not fair" was in full fury. And I didn't understand it at the time. But the anger started masquerading as ambition, because I knew I would never, ever be back in that place again. And so, ambition was the driver. Kids in tow, went back to the apparel industry, fabulous jungle of fashions and plastics, and I was so comfortable being a self-appointed maven. I love that jungle. I survived beautifully because it's instinctive, and I'm a gut player. And so I created a design studio and attracted clients from all around the world. I pushed my designers to produce and succeed, and I pushed myself even harder. And we did. And then when I wanted to kind of create a succession plan so that they could carry the business forward, I failed. And I never understood why. In reflection, I look at, was my anger that was masquerading as ambition had them feeling unsafe? Maybe they just didn't feel comfortable growing something together with me. But I had no reflection capacity at that time, so it was a too bad, so sad about them. Just went right on and continued to grow the studio. Until one day, when I had to move, I hired the low-price mover and got everything I deserved. Having built us for thousands of dollars for cardboard boxes that in 1991, there was no municipal recycling in place, and I had no choice but to incinerate them. The biggest "it's not fair" rant came out of my mouth, and it wasn't about me. It was about a tree. And so I looked at what was going on, these beautiful trees being cut down so that they could move my precious little pencils from Italy one time, and then they were torched. I felt like a tree cremator. And so I'm half Cuban, half Italian. I go into this Latina rant about how somebody ought to have a business where you could rent reusable plastic boxes as an ecological alternative to cardboard. And in that moment, our company was born. I recruited my then new lover and partner in life, Marty, and our adult child to start this business with me. Again, I drove for success. And we did succeed. In sustainability terms, success looks like having avoided putting 250 million pounds of cardboard in landfills and saving 25 million trees from being destroyed. Powerful. And yet, success was bittersweet, because in business, with my anger masquerading as ambition and being, not even knowing it, like the medical community talks about heart attacks being a silent killer, I was killing my relationships. My lover and I, who was also my partner, our romantic relationship just kind of really went down the tubes because we kept fighting over business issues, and I saw them as, we're talking about the issue. He kept telling me he felt I was an angry person, and I never saw it. I'm Latina. We're supposed to be fiery. So, with that having been said, I was wondering, why couldn't we get this company to grow bigger? The idea is right. Look, our competitor with an inferior product to us has 4 times our market share. So it's not the market. I said, oh, well, then it must be the team. So I pushed the team harder until they quit, and I wondered why. I said, I'm kind of running out of options here. I think I better go to school and learn what's going on, maybe some leadership classes. And then, of course, the obvious, the problem was me. And so I had to take a look at who I was being and what I was doing. And I remember spending years mouthing the words, trying them on for size like a dress, and then putting it back on the rack. I was unable to be accountable, to confront myself, to really get who I was being and how I was landing on people, until one day, having endured years of my anger masquerading as ambition, our child threw us out of the house right before Christmas. She exploded in rage, and I couldn't understand it then, but I understand it now. I didn't know what I didn't know. I didn't understand how insidious the anger masquerading as ambition could be, how corrosive it could destroy the things that I love and hold dear and cherish in my heart, my family and my business. And so I look at it now and I think to myself, in the back of my mind, all this mind chatter about it's not fair. How have I created unfair circumstances for other people? And how I look now in reflection and I say to myself, if my older self could console my younger self, who's sobbing and crying, it's not fair, what would I say? And what would you say to yours? Thank you for the privilege of sharing.